What's reality? What's reality? Well, it's what you perceive. That's simple. Philosophers have philosophized about it. Authors have written about it. Teachers have taught about it, and counselors have counseled about it. But what is reality? It's what you perceive. That's it. Reality has become this word. People talk about reality, that like it's set in place in concrete and stone. Well, some of it is, but it doesn't mean that it's not movable. It's not changeable. Now, humans have been trying for as long as I ever knew after I escaped from my giant crystal prison. Humans have been trying to alter reality ever since. I've watched over eons of time as they've changed, they've tried to change reality, but in oh so little steps, with oh so little success, with a lot of frustration. They've tried to change the nature of reality. Well, the problem is quite simple. The problem is that, A, they believe the reality. They believe this is real. They're trying to change it from within their beliefs, and it doesn't budge very far. As a matter of fact, there's a tendency for reality to contract or to become even more solidified when one really buys into the fact that this is reality. This is not. This is perception. That's all it is. That's all this is perception. I've talked a lot, particularly in the last few years, about the human senses and the mind, and how everything is brought into through these senses and then believed as reality. In order for one to truly go beyond this reality, in order for one to truly change the natures of realities, both being plural, natures of reality, one must be willing to go out and beyond, but one must be willing to also perceive with a whole different set of senses, not of the human senses, but of what you would call your I am senses. I've talked about this in great length because it's so important to understand. This is just a way of perceiving. Scientists even are understanding that matter is not matter, or matter doesn't matter. They're beginning to realize that although you perceive the floor as being solid, and you perceive the person next to you being flesh and bones, it's actually not. It's actually, if you bear with me a moment, but through your eyes, what you're perceiving right now is vastly nothing. Vastly nothing. What you see with your eyes, you assume to be a body, hair, the floor, the ceiling, everything else. Actually, what's there is almost nothing but empty space. Isn't that amazing? But the eyes would have you, the eyes are actually doing a nice job of telling your mind that the room is filled with people, or if you're watching it online, that you're watching a computer. You're not. You're watching empty space. For the most part, there are some would say there are particles. I say even that's not true. There is plasma. What you're really sensing in reality is the movement of plasma. That's it. Kind of unromantic, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, tonight you hug somebody in bed, and it's like, you're just hugging plasma, it's like, and the plasma is also creating a gravity or creating an effect that is of time and space. So you think that something is happening, as you're hugging that person in bed, and you think that the day is passing and pretty soon you're going to be asleep. Nah. You're just immersed in plasma that's moving through you. But you've been brilliant enough, absolutely brilliant enough to say, let's make it a little bit more exciting. Let's turn plasma, let's turn the movement of time and space into defined experience and reality. Because just swimming around in a bunch of plasma is not a lot of fun. You know, actually, some days it's probably more fun than the human life. But look what you've done. You've created this out of plasma, which is responding to consciousness, which is really you. You've created all this, and you can also uncreate it, or you can create something totally different. And it's not that hard to do. Creating reality, and I'm not trying to talk about the kind of what we've seen in the past, people trying to change the world. Stop doing that. Create realities for yourself. Now, in creating whatever reality it is that you choose, is going to require getting out of the zoo, going beyond your mind, not worrying about. The important point here is you're doing it for yourself. Stop trying to change the world. That is energetically counterproductive. The moment, a lot of you have been do-gooders in the past, and the moment you're trying to change the world, which I know it's kind of compelling, you want to make everything good and pretty, but it doesn't necessarily want to be good and pretty. World doesn't necessarily want to be defined by your terms. So you go out and try to change the world and think you're doing good, feel really proud and self-righteous and everything else about being a do-gooder. What happens is the natural responsive energy will try to then change you. It will come back on you. It will confine you more. It will screw you up, mess you up more. You're trying to change somebody else's natural order or perception. You're acting outside of the compassion, then it's going to do the same thing to you. So stop trying to change the world. Allow yourself to change your own realities. In order to do so, understand that this isn't reality anyway. This is plasma. and we talked about it at some length in Bonn, but this is just a way of perceiving the movement of, you could say, forces, energy. So a lot of you are like, I got to get out of here. There's something more. I've got to change reality. And you can, at any moment, by, well, it's as simple as allowing it. The tricky part is, again, saying, I'm not going to try to change everything out there. I'm not going to try to change bad traffic or rude humans or anything like that. And that's where some of you have run into problems. It's like, well, I just want all that to change for me. No. In order to change reality, it's about doing it for you. And then it's just about letting yourself really imagine, dream, or we should say feel into the other realms. And the other realms don't even exist until you get there. Don't think of the other realms as something predefined, as there's already these heavens. There's already everything else is defined out there, because it's a trap. It's really just more of this reality. When you get into that, like, you think, that's why I'm adamantly opposed to when people get into the fifth dimension and the sixth and everything else, because they're buying into just a little bit more polished human reality. They don't really understand, and there's not those dimensions. There's nothing until you're there. And then a new reality starts to take form. A new reality is birthed. Not one that you're going to bring everybody else into. Don't even worry about that right now. But one that you can birth on your own. What does that mean? It means you know that there's so much more than this, and there is. But the place to start is birthing your own new realities. by being there. I am here. And you can be multiple places, of course. You can be, I am here. You can be having a conversation with another master. And in the meantime, birthing a new reality for yourself. It's going to liberate you to understand that you're not stuck here. It's going to free you to realize the beauty of putting consciousness into what's now nothing and birthing something and then watching it evolve. Not in human terms, not in the old human ways, but watching it evolve in a way that is not linked or not set into this reality. Let's take a good deep breath here for a moment. Feel a lot of going mental. There is a lot more than this, a lot more. And as we go into our transhuman series, we're going to be literally experiencing your other realms, not other dimensions that belong to somebody else or anything. And then from that experience, you'll understand really how you got here and how easy it is to go beyond.